AEW comes out of nowhere with a brand new pay-per-view concept, Redemption, this Sunday night in the build-up to AEW All In. And it seems that they've kind of run themselves into a bit of a quagmire situation, because in the build-up to All In, it is almost like they kind of forgot about Redemption. And when you look at the lineup for Redemption, it looks like a fairly decent AEW Dynamite. If you watched one of my previous videos talking about AEW and the fact that they feel that MJF is diminished, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here somewhere, top left, top right, or whatever, and I invite you to go check that video out. I was speaking about the AEW Redemption card versus AEW Beach Break. It seemed at least 3 of the matches that happened at Beach Break should have, theoretically, been presented on AEW's pay-per-view Redemption in Canada. One of them being Kenny Omega against MJF. They also had Konosuke Takeshita against Kyle Fletcher, and they had Chris Jericho against Tommaso Ciampa in a first-time ever match, in a match that they've been building for weeks. It was nice to see those matches play out on Dynamite. I loved the concept for Dynamite Beach Break with the arena, the way that it was set up outside by the beach. It definitely gave it a new type of a feel. It's exciting when professional wrestling does that, and they kind of go outside of the arenas and the stadiums, and they present us with something brand new and something interesting. That is something that I enjoy. But with Redemption, this is a brand new IP for the AEW, an opportunity to present a different type of a pay-per-view than what we've been normally used to seeing with AEW's conventional pay-per-view schedule. But it's, looking at the lineup, it's not that exciting. But again, the AEW does pay-per-views better than any other professional wrestling company that has ever existed. They really knock it out of the park with pay-per-views. If there's anything that AEW needs to tweak when you look at pay-per-views, that's the one thing that is, for the most part, left untouched. I mean, they're batting over 500 with pay-per-views. They knock pay-per-views out of the park every single time. I'll say it again. But it is within the realm of trying to figure out how we get to All In that we're here today to talk about Redemption. What are they going to do at Redemption that is going to kick the All In build-up into another gear? So let's talk about it. And if you like this video and more, you guys, don't forget to hit the like button. I invite you to subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and hit me up in the comment section so that we can talk about professional wrestling. I am interested in all comments. It doesn't even matter. Whatever opinion that you have, good, bad, or indifferent, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing from you. This is the Wrestling Old Head reporting from the portal of pro wrestling. So let's get to it. So the lineup as of today. Now, as of today, there are only 8 official matches that have been announced. As I am recording this, Dynamite is about to go on air. So I'm sure we're going to get at least 3 more matches that are made official. So I'm sure that, there's going to be more added to this event. But as of now, there's 8 matches. We're going to break down the 8 matches. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Tekla goes one-on-one against Willow Nightingale. Now, in this build-up, Mercedes Moné is the Owen Hart Cup on the women's division side champion, and the winner of that tournament, she is guaranteed a shot at the Women's World Championship at All In. And so the question remains, who is she going to step into the ring with? Would it be Tekla? Would it be Willow Nightingale? If you look at the history and the storylines that have been built up, Willow Nightingale seems to be the best opponent for Mercedes Moné. Willow Nightingale, I believe, has bested Mercedes Moné on a couple of occasions now. And please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong with that. This is off the top of the head. Don't really know. But I believe that Willow Nightingale has bested Moné at least one time. Moné is going for her first AEW Women's World Championship run. Now remember, she was winning belts all over the world. She had so many belts that she needed an entourage to bring all the belts down to the ring. So in this particular setup here, we're looking at Moné capturing the Women's World Championship. That is the goal, right? That is the destination. Mercedes Moné will become a first ever AEW Women's World Champion. That is the goal. That's where we're getting to. And so if you look at the climate here, you have Tekla or you have Willow Nightingale. What's more exciting? What has more history? I see Willow Nightingale fitting in that role, but I enjoy and adore everything about Tekla. I think she has taken this opportunity to become Women's World Champion and has gone yard with it. She has established herself and separated herself from the pack to make herself a household name and generate interest, unlike any other women's wrestler that has come up in the ranks that doesn't have a history that's not tied to something that's bigger, right? So Tekla has really made a name for herself. I love that she's like a mixture of like a Luna Vachon. She's like badass. She doesn't mind her words in the slightest. She's not willing to censor herself. She says what she feels and how she feels. She's aggressive in the ring. This is a women's world champion if I've ever seen one. And I think interacting with Mercedes Moné could make for some very interesting television. However, Tekla, I see more going against like a Toni Storm. If the rumors are true about Toni Storm, then she's definitely not going to make All In. And if you know, you know. But if those rumors are not true and she was just taking some time off to deal with injuries and recalibrate and come back with a fresh take on her character, then I would love to see Toni Storm against Tekla at All In. As far as Willow Nightingale goes, she is the hero to Mercedes Moné's villain arc. And so I think that's the perfect pairing for All In. So for this match, I'm going to go with Willow Nightingale. I would be pleasantly surprised if Tekla was victorious here. It just seems to make a lot more sense to put Willow Nightingale in the driver's seat to go against Mercedes Moné at All In. Mark Davis is going to be defending his AEW National Championship against Andrade El Idolo. How you know? How you know? And how I know is because I read it. It's at the AEW wrestling website that they have available. So Andrade El Idolo is on a mission. He's going to go through the Don Callis compound, one wrestler at a time. So he should be getting a world title shot sometime next year around this time, if he has to go through every single one. I'm kidding. Andrade El Idolo has really separated himself from the pack, much like Tekla, by establishing himself as a character that a lot of people can get invested in. He has done the women women from all walks of life that want to take a picture with him and give him a kiss on the cheek. He drops trow in the middle of the ring and presents very bright, colorful Speedos, and he uses a catchphrase that sometimes he uses out of context in How You Know, and it's all gotten over, and it's all really exciting, and it all adds an aspect to his character that really helps us to get invested and get behind. And I think it's done wonders for his career, and I'd love to see that AEW is getting behind the machine that is Andrade El Idolo and giving him an opportunity to garner that attention a little bit more, because it only benefits AEW, and of course it benefits Andrade, and it benefits us because we get entertained by watching him do that. Mark Davis has really established himself out of the tag team that he was with Kyle Fletcher in New Japan. He is now establishing himself as a badass. He is in the same kind of breath as like a Stan Hansen or Justin Hawk Bradshaw, or even a Brody Lee, guys that come out there and they just wreck fools and they leave almost wanting to say Hoss, like the guy's a stud, and I do enjoy watching him wrestle. The national championship with him is pretty much not been utilized on at least AEW Dynamite the way that I would have hoped for, and I believe that if you give it to Andrade El Idolo, then he'll utilize it a little bit more. He'll probably defend the title in CMLL and in other wrestling promotions. I see Andrade coming out victorious here. I mean, it's always a possibility that Don Callis can cost him that title shot, so then they can give him an opportunity at the TNT title or the international title or another title that might be on the horizon before he goes for the world championship. But I'm going to put all my chips and bet I'm going to go all in, pun intended, on Andrade coming out victorious in this one. The Painmaker, Chris Jericho, meets Tommaso Ciampa in a no-holds-barred match. This will be their second match that they've had. Their first match was at Beach Break. I thought it was really good. It was a pleasant surprise. These guys tore the house down, and they're using drills and all kinds of other tools. I can see this match because Tommaso Ciampa got the victory at Beach Break. I see they're also in Canada for this pay-per-view, that Chris Jericho coming out with his Painmaker gimmick, that it's fairly obvious to me, and the Painmaker gimmick being something that was popular in New Japan. I really see it's possible Chris Jericho's going to get the victory here. I think they're going to go all out. Hopefully it's not like Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara. If you know, you know, and they take it sort of easy, and within the realm of like not going too hardcore and crazy. They also have to understand that we have, I believe Jon Moxley is going to be out later on in this evening, so you don't want to kind of steal the thunder away from what Jon Moxley's capable of doing. So in this instance, I am going to go with the Painmaker Chris Jericho to come out victorious here. I think this feud will probably have a third match, maybe at All In. Maybe that's something that they can build up to, because All In would be a month away at that point. So maybe something along the lines of that. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to go with Chris Jericho to come out victorious in this one. Kyle Fletcher is going to defend his AEW, is that the International Championship, I believe, against Bandito. These guys can tear the house down. I love Bandito's work. I think Kyle Fletcher is really stepping up and standing out as well, and really developing a character that's really smug and pompous and arrogant, something that you really enjoy seeing, because he stands out as well. It's not the same as MJF. It's different, it's more corporate, it's more suave, it's more playboy, and I think that really works. I still would have hoped for them to repackage Sky Blue and pair Sky Blue with Kyle Fletcher, because I think that would be some really great television, to be honest with you, and I think it would really help Sky Blue a lot, because she's just kind of swimming in circles, which she has been doing for a while now. She needs something to stand out and become her own character, but that remains to be seen. Kyle Fletcher, I think, is going to come out victorious here. I don't think they're ready to get the title off of him just yet. Is Bandito still the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion? If that's the case, I would like to see that title defended. I don't know when the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is going to be, and I don't watch the television show. That's just my fault. I just don't have the time to. But keeping up with Bandito, I think he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a stud. He's a world champion, if he's still the world champion. And I think he's going to put on a good match with Kyle Fletcher, but I just think Kyle Fletcher right now has all the momentum in the world. Seems like he's picking fights with Kevin Knight, and there seems to be a rift between him and Kazuchika Okada. Don't know where they're going to go with that. And then, of course, you also have Konosuke Takeshita that's also swimming around trying to get a title shot. I find it far more conceivable that Kyle Fletcher is going to walk out as the champion, because he's got that rogues gallery that's right around the corner within his own camp, and Konosuke Takeshita that are swimming around trying to get that title shot. So I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher to come out victorious here. Cage and Cope, the AEW reigning World Tag Team Champions, are going to defend against the Death Riders. So it was the C Squad that they wrestled on Dynamite a week ago or so, which was Danny Garcia and Wheeler Yuta, and now they're going to wrestle the B Squad, which is Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. I think, obviously Cope and Cage are going to win. They're in their hometown. They're playing home field advantage here. And they're also they're obviously building up to the Young Bucks against Cage and Cope. I think Cage and Cope come out victorious here. I wonder if the Dogs are going to get involved in any way, considering that they're kind of loosely affiliated with the Death Riders, and if they're going to continue that. But the Dogs are still kind of sort of tied to the Bang Bang Gang, and I wonder if they're going to do some sort of a multi-man here at Redemption, or if they're going to wait to do the multi-man between the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs at All In, and then maybe they'll do something like Jay White. I almost said Jay Lethal. Jay White against David Finlay Jr. Maybe something along the lines of that. That would be exciting stuff. I'd like to see that. But as far as this match goes, I'm going to go with Cage and Cope. Obviously, are going to retain here and continue their build up against their first time ever tag match with the Young Bucks, which a lot of people are excited to see. The Death Riders, speaking of the Young Bucks are going to be going against Death Riders A Squad, which is Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley. I wonder if they're going to tease some dissension here between Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley. I'd be interested in that. Is Kenny Omega going to get involved? There's a lot of questions here. I think Young Bucks obviously are going to become victorious here, because they need to get to Cage and Cope to challenge for the tag titles at All In. So it's obvious that we're going to get that Young Bucks victorious here. Maybe Moxley takes the pin. You definitely don't want to have Will Ospreay take the pin here if he's going to be challenging for the AEW World Championship at All In. So it seems to me that the Bucks are going to somehow end up pinning Jon Moxley. Now, how that happens is going to be interesting. Is it going to be a Will Ospreay snafu? Kenny Omega going to get involved? Are we going to see some sort of interference from Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page? I'm trying to think about what Jon Moxley can do at AEW All In, and I'm looking at the pick of the litter there. He is the international champion, or continental champion, sorry. He is the continental champion, so maybe there's going to be somebody that challenges him for that Continental title, I'm not really sure. I'm looking at Kenny Omega's friends. The only one I can think of is Hangman Adam Page. But are they going to want to go to the well with Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley again? Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to want to do that. Also, you got to keep in mind that by the time Redemption goes on the air and live, a lot of the wrestlers that were released 90 days ago, their 90-day non-compete would be up. They would be available. So guys like Malachi Black, you got Kairi Sane. Not saying Kairi Sane is going to show up and interfere against Jon Moxley. The new Day. Are they going to come in as the New Era? You've got the Motor City Machine Guns. All of these people are going to be available and could show up at AEW at any point. But it seems like Redemption would be a good start because usually Tony Khan waits for these debuts or returns or big surprises for his pay-per-views because he really goes out for pay-per-views, all out for pay-per-views, or all in, I should say. So will we see somebody like that interfere? That remains to be seen. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks. I think it's just fairly obvious that we're going to see that happen. And I wonder if we're going to see some dissension between Ospreay and Moxley or how that's going to work out. It remains to be seen. It should be interesting. I bet you that's going to probably be the match of the night, honestly. Hikaru Shida is going to defend the AEW TBS Championship against Maya World. This is an opportunity for Maya World to really make a name for herself here and steal the show against Hikaru Shida. I like what they're doing to try to establish Hikaru Shida as a different type of a character. I like the character a lot, but is it time to give Maya World her opportunity on the big stage? Could this be an opportunity for her to capture a title in AEW and go into All In with that momentum? You also have Chris Statlander that's swimming around. She's feuding with Hikaru Shida, so there's definitely an opportunity to have Chris Statlander come out and maybe distract Hikaru Shida to give Maya World the win. You always got to keep that in mind, because more than likely we're going to get Hikaru Shida against Chris Statlander at All In at the very least. I'm going to pick Maya World here. I know this is a quick title change and a title reign for Hikaru Shida, considering that she's also technically the interim TBS champion because Willow Nightingale never lost, but she was able to come back from injury faster than expected. So I'm going to go with Maya World here, but I understand if they go with Hikaru Shida being victorious because you don't want such a transitional title run for someone that you're just now trying to reestablish with a new character in AEW. But I just think it's Maya World's time to really stand out and make a name for herself. I think it's important for the fans to really feel like Maya World can become a contender, for her to have challenged for the AEW Women's World Championship at the last pay-per-view and now challenging for the TBS Championship. If she goes 0-2 in title matches, then it defines her down after all of that momentum that she's got since she got the opportunity to win to be in the Owen Hart Cup. So I'm going to go for Maya World here. We'll see what happens. And then finally, it's going to be Kenny Omega against Kevin Knight for the AEW World Championship. This match, it reminds me of ECW pay-per-views back in the day, where it was like Rob Van Dam defending the ECW World Television title in the main event against Johnny Smith or Balls Mahoney. It's like, wow, this is just so weird for a main event at an ECW pay-per-view. As a kid, I loved it. In this scenario, I think it's really good, but I think Kevin Knight still has a ways to go before he's established as a main eventer. He's got a lot of work to do. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I'm definitely behind him. I think he's a great wrestler. I almost said Jay Malachi, which is his real name, but he's like the Javon Evans of the AEW, where it's like when you look at Javon Evans in the WWE, you go, this guy's going to be a superstar one day. And that's how I look at Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is like a mid-card guy working his way up to upper card. Same with Javon Evans, but I just don't think that Kevin Knight is particularly ready yet. And who knows, after this pay-per-view, I could be singing his praises and saying the guy is ready, give him that opportunity, put the strap on him, or get him in the main event because he's ready to go. The guy's got amazing talent in the ring. It's the mic work, it's the presentation, all of that I feel like needs a little bit more before that we can entrust that he's going to get out there and sell tickets and generate interest and do social media and do the press and do what it takes to keep AEW in the eyes and the minds of the fans, be it casual or diehard. So I think this could be a standout match for Kevin Knight. He can be the most improved of the year, but you obviously know that he's not coming out of this victorious. that Kenny Omega is going to retain here. So it's really all about if this is going to be the match of the night, if this is going to steal the show, and if this is going to put Kevin Knight a tier above where he was before he got into this match. And I really hope that to be true. Remains to be seen. Of course, I think Darby Allin obviously is going to be lingering around. He's going to wrestle tonight, I believe, for the TNT Championship against Kevin Knight. I look for Kevin Knight to come out victorious there, and then from there, Darby Allin more than likely will play a factor in Kevin Knight losing in some form or fashion, so that we can get that match for All In later in the month. So Kenny Omega coming out victorious. This AEW Redemption pay-per-view on paper looks like dynamite, but I believe it's going to go above and beyond, and all of it's going to meet the expectations and more than likely exceed the expectations, because that's just what AEW does, you guys. When they do their pay-per-views, you can say what you want about the criticism about their television product and about story fluidity, but when it comes to pay-per-views, AEW does it like no other. So I have all the confidence in the world that by the time this pay-per-view is over, we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about a couple of matches, and I believe we're going to be talking about a couple of debuts as well, and some storyline progression going into All In, which on paper right now, even right now in its infancy, AEW All In pay-per-view looks like one for the record books. So guys, that's what I think of AEW Redemption. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And again, if you like this video and more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the notifications bell, so that you're always aware when I drop out of the portal of pro wrestling to talk about professional wrestling. Guys, it's the Wrestling Old Head. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.